The Lockhorns is a United States single-panel cartoon created in 1968 by Bill Hoest and distributed by King Features Syndicate to 500 newspapers in 23 countries. It is continued today by Bill Hoest and Reiner. Characters and story. The married couple Leroy and Loretta Lockhorn constantly argue. They demonstrate the mutual deep-seated hatred by making humorously sarcastic comments on each other's failings as spouses. Many of the business and institutions depicted in the strip are real places located in or near Huntington, New York on the North Shore of Long Island. The cartoon feature was initially titled The Lockhorns of Levittown. Anticipating national syndication, Bill Hoest suggested shortening the title to The Lockhorns. It began as a single-panel daily on September 9, 1968, with the Sunday feature launched April 9, 1972. The Sunday feature initially employed an unusual layout that ganged together several single-panel cartoons. Comics historian Don Markstein described the couple's battle of wits. It focused just on the couple themselves, no children, no next-door neighbors, no boss, etc., except to the extent others were occasionally needed as props. The entire raison d'etre of the series is to show Leroy and Loretta trading caustic one-liners. They fight about his roving eye, her cooking, his earning power, her excessive shopping, and the fact that both are middle-aged and dumpy-looking. Also, anything else that happens to occur to them. There are a few other recurring characters, such as Loretta's mother, the marriage counselor, and Leroy's favorite bartender, but the entire focus is on Leroy and Loretta themselves. The syndicate's publicity tries to make them sound more like the average comics family, claiming, "You can't help but love him nonetheless," and they realize that together till death do us part, and they wouldn't have it any other way. But don't you believe it? If either of them has a lovable quality, readers never see it, and if they wouldn't want to part, it can only be because the greatest pleasure comes from keeping each other on edge. Bill Hoest died in 1988, but his widow, Bill Hoest, continued the strip with Bill Hoest's longtime assistant, Reiner. The Lockhorns. Leroy Lockhorn, the man of the house who drinks a lot, plays golf too much and chases everything good-looking in a skirt. Loretta Lockhorn, the woman of the house, is a shopaholic, who drives and cooks terribly and does most of the handiwork around the house because either Leroy is too lazy to do it, or because he feels she should earn all the money she spends. Loretta's mother, never named and rarely seen, but hated mercilessly by Leroy. D. Pullman, marriage counselor, whom Leroy and Loretta routinely see but to no avail. Arthur, the bartender, local saloon keeper, to whom Leroy often bemoans his circumstances. Parodies. Marital Mirth, part of the Super Fun Pack comics, in Tom the Dancing Bug, is a parody of the Lockhorns. The Better Half comic strip is often seen as a tamer version of the Lockhorns. An early Leo strip featured Leo's ants attacking numerous comic strips on a newspaper page, all of which parodied real comic strips. The Lockhorns appeared as the Hate Each Others, depicting a non-plus Leroy hate each other, comparing the monstrous ant to Loretta's mother. A Watch Your Head comic featured a movie trailer, Dear Loretta, Love Leroy, where the bickering turns out to be a romantic comedy. Books. At least 9 Lockhorns collections were published by Signet between 1968 and 1982. Tor reissued the first in the series as The Lockhorns. What Do You Mean You Weren't Listening? I Didn't Say Anything in 1992. Awards. Bill Hoest received the National Cartoonists Society's Newspaper Panel Cartoon Award for the strip for 1975 and 1980.